Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We've got the lineup on cases today from a former FBI agent demanding, let's find the body in the Nancy Guthrie case, to the funeral, a beautiful funeral for Nolan Wells, an 18-year-old football star out of Mississippi that lost his life over the July 4th weekend. And his family is just wanting answers and wanting to find out what happened to their son. We make it all the way over to Ohio, to the Sider family, and some details. And looking inside this jail and finding out the behavior of all of these 4 individuals arrested for endangering 16 children inside a 12 by 12 bedroom. And then, of course, we're going to circle right around to Sebastian Waindrake Rogers. He was 15 years old 2 years ago when he disappeared. He's now 17 years old. And we're going back to when Sonny Weatherford was alive. We're going to kick all this off today in today's episode of the Bullhorn Betty Show. So welcome, guys. Come on in, sit on down, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into it.
Bullhorn Betty rocks.
Coffee steaming, files on the table. We clocking early, hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip-flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. Whiteboard wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turmo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we take vengeance.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. It's nice and early this beautiful Tuesday morning. Don't forget, this is nice. We go back next week to 6 a.m. Tuesday and Thursday live. So don't forget about old bets when you guys are sleeping in. And we need to get you guys coming over and looking. Don't forget, you might not see me live, but you guys on Tuesdays and Thursdays next week, you guys will be seeing me, but we're going to be rocking and rolling back to our old schedule. We're doing a live at 6 a.m. in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 a.m. is our showtime whenever it's political seasons, whenever it's election seasons. And not only that, but I do a lot of work with my county. I'm just highly involved. Anyways, guys, it's nice to see you. As you guys can see, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning, kind of, sort of, unless you're in this kind of ick. We've got a lot of rain going on. I don't know if my my cucumber plant, my vine, survived yesterday. It was brutal. We had horrible rains, wind. My neighbor came over, knocked over, and he's like, your trellis is knocked over. I looked down, and it's like the it was completely over, and so I fixed it back, and then of course went out there a couple hours later, and it was just almost shredded. And I noticed one of my vines had broke, so I tried to get it into soil so it can... Anyways, that's kind of where we're at so far. I'm supposed to make a plant live, and I keep killing the plants. But this one's not my fault. It was the act of God. That's whose fault it was. We need the weather. I don't know if we need the wind, but we definitely need the rain. So anyways, good morning. If you're on this side of the United States, you're probably under a flood watch right now. We've got a lot of water. We went from completely dry, drought type weather to inches of water at this point. Inches of water. Very welcome. My yard literally has grown like a foot overnight. That's how much water it's drank. So it's time to mow. So as soon as this stuff subsides, we got to do adulting around the house and get the yard cleaned back up. Melanie, it's nice to see you. Denise, good morning. Unicorn, Indiana, it's lovely to have you, my love. Seth, good morning. Good morning. You're up awfully early. Angela, good morning. It's nice to see you. Let them 66. Good morning. Eric. Michelle, it's nice to see you. The Ruby Pearl Glamper, True Crime Justice. Good morning, ladies. Darla, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Victoria, big hugs and loves to you, babe. Honey Babe up in the chat. Hot damn. Good morning, hot damn. Jason, it's nice to see you. Janet, good morning. It's nice to see you. Peggy. Who else do we have? Lisa C, it's nice to see you. Leanne. YouTuber, Jewel, Alicia, I Spy. Well, good morning, love. I hope you are doing well. It's nice to see you. Good morning, good morning. And everybody else that's up in the chat. Good morning, good morning. Peggy, good morning. Maribeth, it's nice to see you. Vicky, good morning. Good morning. Candace, oh, it's so nice to see you. I was just thinking about you last night. I was like, you know what? I haven't seen her in a few days. So it's nice to see you. Good morning. Who else do we have? We have Anne. Good morning, Anne. It's nice to see you. Welcome. Jen. 501 Dimebag Chris. Good morning. Is that an advertisement? I'm just asking for a few friends. That's all. I'm just asking. The hell was that? Am I not on the right one? I can't even see. I don't have. There we go. Can't even read my buttons. I don't have my glasses on. I need to find my glasses. I do have glasses here, so we'll put them on here in just a little bit. So far, I haven't needed them, except for hitting the wrong button. We got an advertisement going up on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Alien Ape Farm, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Maybe you need to call Dimebag Chris over here. Maybe that's what you need to do. I'm just saying. You seem like you're from an ape farm. He seems like he's got the stuff to calm down the ape. I'm just saying. Lori, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Janet, Sabby, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Little Orange Man. Chris is laughing. just trying to spread the love this beautiful Tuesday morning. That's all I'm doing over here. Chicky, it's nice to see you. All right. Mr. Dunham. God gracious, can I not speak today? 75% of sex buyers in U.S. are married or in a committed relationship according to world metrics. Isn't that gross? God help us. Thank you for that tidbit of information, that factual information here. First thing on the Bullhorn Betty channel, first thing live this morning. Happy Cappy, it's nice to have you. Good morning, KMH. Good morning. Yeah, me too. Oh, good gracious, good gracious. So let's go ahead and start out with Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells is our 18-year-old right down here, football star. Seems like he came from a lovely family. Seems like he's a great kid. I mean, good gracious, right? In this day and age, you just never know what you're going to get, at the end of it with the schools and everything else. But it seems like this kid was just an amazing person, and it's always the old statement, old adage, the good die young. But everything that we've learned is he was really, from the football coach, from his friends, from the people that idolized him in school. He seems like he had everything going for him, and then all of a sudden he goes out on July 4th and he loses his life, and his family wants to know why. And quite frankly, we can't fault them for that. I'm never going to fault a family to running to activists to help them. At some points when you don't know what else to do, sometimes you got to lean on people that have experienced things that you've never experienced, right? It's nice to see you, Dee, Kayla, Lady Gray. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. So I'm not upset. I we know that Al Sharpton is involved and Benjamin Crump is involved, and they bring kind of this racist undertone, like it has something to do with the color of his skin, and quite frankly, I'm not going to buy into that stuff because I really don't believe it. If I did believe it, I would absolutely say it. I have no problem. There is still ugly in this world, and we all know it. But for the majority of us, a lot of change has happened over, the decades of our country. But there's still just some people that are born with hate. And even this day, we still see parents teaching their children hate, even hate of a president of the United States, which is freaking disgusting. Hate is why many of us in the true crime industry are here. Many people wish we weren't here. I wish I wasn't here. I wish I was in yarning or sewing or baking or something, a little more less stressful than we are. But at the end of the day, this is something that happens all over this country. We have death, and sometimes that death is accidental. Sometimes that death is due to natural causes, and sometimes that death is due to somebody else, either by their negligence or their intentional, willful acts that make you dead. So we have a variety here, but whenever you are a parent of a child, the one thing you do not have, especially if you're raising more than one child, is money, right? Unless you've got it like that. Most people, they have enough to give their children and their family a good life, but they don't have enough to bury a child. They weren't expecting to bury a child. Very expensive stuff. So, in all fairness, Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump brought a wealth of resources for this family. And and when you're struggling, those resources are everything. They literally are your lifeline, because these parents, their head is still spinning. I can guarantee it. They went from having a normal life to missing their son to their son being deceased. I mean, this is a roller coaster ride that I don't wish anybody to be on. So long story short, I kind of disagree with Al Sharpton saying, putting up $50,000 for an arrest to whoever, we are not even there yet in this case. I think it's premature. I think it's basically, telling the whole world his white friends murdered him. And I just think that's a piss poor, I think it's piss poor, but again, at the end of the day, they can deal with it. They're going to survive. Even his friends, they will survive this. So Nolan did not. Okay. So at the end of the day, they need to do whatever they need to do to get the attention that they need to get. I'm praying to God that there is nothing nefarious here. But in all fairness, I don't feel comfortable with the details of this case so far, So it does make me wonder, was somebody negligent, and did he lose his life as a direct result? Do I think that his friends targeted him because he's black. Again, I do not. So we have to understand what racism is, and we have to find out, is there racism, even if his friends were responsible or a guy was responsible for this. Does it have anything to do with the color of his skin? And my answer is no, it does not. So I am going to go ahead and play Al Sharpton and his statements, but I just wanted to just give you I think that his funeral was beautiful. I think that the people there care. And I want to make sure that that's notated here. I am not willing at this point to accuse anybody of homicide, okay? Especially a bunch of young kids that were out having a good time that just lost their friend. I'm not willing to use that word just yet. Now, if there's evidence of it, by God, then we're going to be full steam ahead. But right now, there is no evidence. There's a whole lot of speculation, and I think that's where we're going. Very blessed. I agree with you. I think we're going to find out this was an accident, and I think we're going to find out the kids didn't know what to do. I think that's what we're going to end up finding out. But this whole idea that he stayed behind, one, I don't believe that. This idea that they didn't realize and accidentally left him behind, being the only black kid on the boat. He towered over his friends. I find that hard to believe. So again, I'm not really believing the whole story. You got to make a believer out of me, and the kids aren't making a believer out of me yet. So I understand exactly why the parents are doing this. Okay, at least this is better than this kid here being at the center of attention and getting, all of this stuff for doing terrible things, okay, and acting terribly. This is a good kid, and if anybody deserves, support, it would be this family. So again, I'm happy that at least everybody's on the right case, okay? If you're going to be fighting and you're going to be doing something impactful, at least make sure it's for an innocent individual that needs help. And this, I couldn't say any more about this family. This family seems lovely. This child, they seem like they raised great kids. And you know what? That's what this world is missing. Great parents raising great kids. Can we all agree with that? Because I'm telling you, that's what I believe. And this is a family that had a great family and great kids. They didn't deserve this, but no family does in reality. Nobody deserves to lose their child. But that's what we're missing in this world. We're missing in this world great families with great kids. And seeing this, it breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart.
First, let us pray. Dear God, we come this morning.
Might as well pray, folks.
As humble as we know how.
Because I can't listen to a prayer without praying.
We come to celebrate the life of this young man, Nolan Xavier Wells. We come with a painful acknowledgement of you allowed him to return home at a young age. We can't question what you do, but we can ask for the strength and power to be given us to go through this and understand the meaning of this and to seek what is required of this at this hour. Look on his family, his mother, his father, his siblings, and all of his blood relatives that long after the cameras are gone, long after the crowd stop coming by, they will bear the burden of an empty chair in the house. They will bear the burden of memories that will not ever leave them. And give them the strength to find some meaning and give them the memory of the joys that he brought them and wipe away their tears from their eyes so that they can see and be what he would want them to be at this hour. We don't have words or anything we could give, but you have the strength and the power to hold them up. And we ask for that strength today. And look down here in Mississippi today and let us pursue justice. Whatever the situations are that led to this, let every stone be rolled back and every veil be torn asunder. And let truth pop out of the ground like a flower. And let justice flow down like a water. And mercy like a mighty stream. These blessings we ask in your name. Amen. Let me first give honor.
I just wanted to say that that was a beautiful prayer of strength. So, again, you know, I think that what we're dealing with here, I think we're going to ultimately find out is an accident. That, you know, whether his friends were involved with it or not, it was truly an accident. At least that's what I hope. But if there are, you know, if people have tampered with evidence or obstructed evidence or did anything that is unlawful, making it more difficult for law enforcement to figure out what happened, well, then those people need to be held accountable for those things. I hope that that didn't happen. I hope the kids didn't tamper with evidence or try to conceal stuff or commit crimes in an effort to cover up an accident when they should have most likely called law enforcement or called for help to get him help instead of leaving him. You know, there's a lot to be said here. But again, I'm not willing to accuse anybody just yet. We don't have enough information to point the finger at anybody. Okay? Right now, we can just say that it was wrong for his friends to leave him behind, but we don't believe their story that he stayed behind to hang out with a girl. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. And if he did, there's no way in the world he would have ever left his cell phone behind, because that would have been the only way he could get a ride. So it doesn't make sense. And things that don't make sense usually don't make sense for a reason, because somebody's not being honest.
To the pastor who has been so wonderful in allowing us to be here today, Senior Pastor Pagel and Executive Pastor Brownsville, Reverend R.D. Holmes, who heads National Action Network in Tallahassee, came all the way from Tallahassee, Florida, and to some of those.
Thank you, Rita.
There you are. I'm looking for you. You did the scripture. Some of those that came to just give strength to the family. We honored, flew all the way from New York with me this morning. Spike Lee is with us.
And this is what people don't understand. These are resources. Having Spike Lee there, having all these people there, these are resources to help you get things done. They bring attention. They bring a wealth of financial resources. Again, this beautiful service is paid for by Tyler Perry. God bless Tyler Perry for that. Again, I'm not a fan of Colin Kaepernick. But Colin Kaepernick is paying for the independent autopsy, you know, and these are people that are helping. And we're going to get into the press conference here in just a moment. And in that press conference, you're going to hear about them setting up a foundation. You know, those foundations need to be funded. And these are true resources that can help fund this foundation and get this foundation moving in the right direction for their son, for his legacy. And, you know, people can, and I know that there's a lot of criticism in some of the ways that these activists, even Al Sharpton, works, but there's a lot of criticism in the way that I work as well. Each activist, each person that's out here doing what they do brings a different style. He's very well known. He goes back to old school. He goes back to the times when America was much uglier than it is today. We've come a long way, and I have to believe that it's a direct result of activists just like Al Sharpton that have moved the needle in our history. Martin Luther King Jr., for example, was a polarizing individual, a very kind, ginger individual that didn't believe in violence in moving the needle. He believed in raising the voice. He believed in protesting. He believed in taking to the streets in a way that wasn't violent, that didn't destroy or be destructive. They just wanted to be heard. They wanted their rights here in America. And quite frankly, in our history, the Black folks got a chance to vote before women did. Women's rights came afterwards. Everybody in our history, and I think it's important for us to understand this, has been disadvantaged at one point or another. This idea that, slavery, at one point, every country in the world owned slaves, white slaves, black slaves, different color slaves, brown slaves, it doesn't matter. We were all enslaved at some point in our lives and or in our history of the world, not our lives. Thank God we live in a different genre than years back, but there's been a lot of changes, and I feel it's important that we embrace the fact that we were an uglier nation at one time, and support the fact that we've come a long ways as human beings in righting that wrong. You're never going to eradicate the hate and the ugly fully out of this world. You're just never going to do it. But you know what we can do? Each and every year, we have children, we can teach them better. We can be better each and every day. And we can just, change the world one day at a time, and I hope that continues to go on. But they're still ugly in this world. We're still fighting a country named Iran that wants death to all of us. They don't care about anything other than the fact that we're a Christian nation and they want us all dead. Doesn't matter if you're green with pink polka dots. If you're living in America and you are a Christian individual, if you're Al Sharpton up here praying to the Lord, they want you gone. Okay? They don't care about our petty, racial squabbles. At the end of the day, they want us all gone, right? They are an imminent threat to our way of life, period. So, just a little food for thought.
And the one and only T.O., Terrell Owens, wanted to be here with the family. In fact, if you look to your right, everybody look to your right, shake hands with that person, because you are Elmer and Christian's special guest. Everybody, shake hands with the person to your right. So you can't say you were not special from the family. Everybody here.
Inclusion. Very interesting.
Before I start the eulogy, I want us to hear from the mother and father of Nolan, because they are the ones that bear the burden.
I give all thanks and honor and glory to God for choosing Elmore and me to be Nolan's parents. We thank you, Lord, for the beautiful 18 years that you blessed us with him. Thank you for the joy he brought not only to our family, but also to his friends and everyone in the community whose lives he touched. Nolan had such a gentle, calming spirit about him. He had a way of making people feel seen, welcome, and valued. He could lift your confidence with just a few words and make you feel like you belonged. If you ever had the privilege of meeting our son Nolan,
Thank you,
or
Lori.
calling him a friend, then you experienced a glimpse of God's love through him. He was both protective and nurturing. He often told us that one day he wanted to have 3 daughters that he would name Sophia, Charlotte, and Olivia. He had a deep love for the Lord and an unwavering faith that was evident in the way he lived his life. As much as our hearts are broken We find peace in knowing that our son is resting in the arms of the Lord. We will miss everything about him, from his quiet nature to the corny jokes, his gentle smile, the way he made everyone around him feel comfortable, loved, and at ease. Your absence has left an emptiness that can never truly be filled. A piece of our hearts will always be missing. Nolan, your father and I are incredibly proud of you. We've always been proud of you, of the young man you were, and we will always be proud of the legacy of love, kindness, and faith that you have left behind. In a world that can often feel dark, be like Nolan. Be the light that brightens the lives of those around you. Be the warmth for those who may be feeling the coldness of the world. Love deeply, protect fiercely, and welcome others with kindness. And remain faithful knowing that God is always with you. Lastly, I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your hearts. Share his stories and never stop saying his name. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through us all. Nolan, we love you.
Hard.
We'll continue to fight for you. And until we meet again, and thank you all for coming. Thank you.
That's hard. That was really hard. But you know what? It's ooh, there's nothing like a mom feeling that pain. Ooh, not what we needed first thing this morning, but I you know what? This is the show.
You guys gotta excuse me. I might be
This is the father.
kind of all over the place a little bit. First of all, I want to say out of all my kids, Nolan was the one that would crawl backwards on the regular. Like, babies crawl forward, he would crawl backwards. And he had this crazy haircut that I just, I don't know, you had to see it to know him.
I know,
But
it's hard. It's so hard.
I want to start off by saying how proud I am of you, my son. You grew up to be a very young man that everyone enjoyed to be around. The constant lectures from me about having character, self-respect, self-discipline, and perseverance really hit home with you at an early age. These were the things that I had to live through to really be able to pass down to you and your siblings. I remember when you first asked to play basketball, and I admit I was kind of worried because you never picked up a basketball, you never shot one. We didn't have a actual basketball goal. The only thing we had was that Walmart special, the little plastic one that everybody breaks in the first few days. But on that first day of tryouts, you shocked me and your mom. And just to make a long story short, you, Jalen, and Javon won y'all first championship together. Middle school was even more exciting because you were not just making a name for yourself on the football field, the basketball court, and the baseball diamond, but you were also laying the groundwork for your little brother Elmore. I nicknamed you Mr. Cool Hands because it seemed like you was catching a touchdown every game. You wanted to be the best. So I poured all my knowledge into you that I could by taking you to the gym to work out, taking you to the beach to do drills in the sand, teaching you how to watch film, how to study your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. And you carried these teachings all the way through high school and had an amazing run. Also during that time, you made a lot of friends. You helped a lot of people and you became well liked by many. It really warmed me and your mother's heart when we would get a phone call or an email from a teacher talking about something that you did for a fellow student. All the teachers love Nolan. The day you came home from college, you came in the room and you asked me about training. You would always ask us or always tell us about things that you want to do for us. When you signed with a school, you want to do this and take me and your mother there. And I would always tell you that, son, you need to take it one day at a time. During this time, you trained, you worked out. The bond with your younger siblings grew stronger because they looked up to you for motivation, especially your younger brother, which played the same position that you did. You guys' competition, Cannon, Nolan loves you, and he wanted you to do just as good as he did. Ethan, the same way. Even though you weren't a receiver, he wanted you to do great things. Carly, Jaden, with you guys being the oldest, he wanted the best for you guys. And I know that he would have did anything he could to make you guys happy. I just want to say thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for coming out and celebrating our son. Nolan meant a lot to a lot of people. And today it just shows us how much he meant to the community, to the country, and to the world. Thank you guys again for coming out. We appreciate it.
So, as you guys got to see, Al Sharpton had a beautiful prayer. He's about to go into eulogy. We're not going to go into the eulogy. We got to hear from Mom and Dad. It's very, very heartbreaking. This is super, super emotional. Hard not to... Oh my goodness, it was hard to keep it together. That's why I don't want to go any further, because I'll probably be a blubbering idiot on this show. This is very tough. But it seems like a lot of people poured love into them yesterday, and just, what a true blessing that must have been, dealing with the hardest thing in the world and having as much support holding you up as they did. So I wanted to get into this press conference a little bit and just hear from the parents in something a little more upbeat before we close out this segment.
I wanted to ask you, what does honoring Nolan's legacy look like for your family moving forward? Are there any foundations, scholarships, community initiatives, or causes you hope people will support in his memory?
I have to be honest with you. I thought that was a setup question, though. Even though it sounded like the lady was reading right from a card. Anyways, let me just get back on there.
Absolutely. This is actually something my cousin Keezy and I have briefly discussed. But of course, with everything that's going on, we want things to kind of cool down a little bit. My husband and I, honestly, we have not fully processed this. We have not fully grieved Nolan, but that is the plan, is to come up with some foundation, just honor him, but also to United Cajun Navy. Big help, boots on the ground almost immediately after I spoke with Josh Gill. So, we have to remember those types of organizations in our communities and utilize them, but also give back to them. So that is our hope, that we'll be able to give as much as we've been given during this time.
Yes.
Stephen Smith with the Associated Press. Is there any update to the independent autopsy that you guys requested?
Sure. And just on that last question, very good question. Christine and Elmore and Cliff Jones and Lisa Park at the office, they talk frequently, and that's one of the things she stressed at the funeral service. She wanted to celebrate his life and celebrate and define what his legacy will be. So we look forward to working to define his legacy. Nobody else is going to define his legacy but the people who knew him best.
Right.
Yeah. As it relates to the independent autopsy, we are looking to have findings sooner rather than later. Obviously, you want stuff from the first autopsy because they had the body closer to time. We got the body almost 6 days later, Dr. Roger Mitchell. So there are limitations as to what he could do. So, you know, you do the best you can, but there are unanswered questions. So he's getting his report together. I believe it will be coming very soon. Yeah.
Let me take one. I'm gonna take three more. 1, 2, and we'll come back to you.
Janelle Griffith with People Magazine. I also want to extend my condolences and to thank you for allowing the media to come. I know you didn't have to allow us to be here. I just had two small questions, both related to cell phones. One of the things that came out of your meeting with the local DA was that you agreed you would both analyze Nolan's phone. I wanted to know when that might take place. And the other was that at the end of the last press conference, you said that, Ben, you said you wanted everybody's cell phones looked at. So that, to me, that meant the other young men that were with Nolan that day. Did you communicate that to the DA, and what did she say? If so, have they analyzed their phones? Do they plan to?
I did communicate that to the district attorney. Whether they're going to do that, that's a question that you have to ask them. But we thought that it's only fair if we're going to look at Nolan's phone, we should look at the other people who were with Nolan that day. Because, again, we just want equal justice. We think that if Nolan was on that boat, roles were reversed, they would look at his phone, and so that is going to be important.
Not only that, but I think that they should look at the other phone because they're talking about them believing messages have been deleted, and you know there's going to be communication between those kids if something did happen. At the end of the day, it's to find out the truth, right? We're not at a place where I truly believe that somebody committed homicide here. Not yet. I mean, there is still a possibility. We don't know what we're going to find. But I definitely believe that if other people were with them, this is highly suspicious for me. I don't think kids are just going to leave their friends behind. You know, he seemed like he was the cool kid, right? So nobody's going to leave the cool kid behind. They're going to want the cool kid with them. So I think that that's kind of where we're at with this, and things aren't making sense because they don't make sense. Somebody's not being totally forthcoming here as to why his phone was on their boat, why he was left at this island, why they left the island, why they would leave the island without their friend. And even if their friend wanted to stay behind because of a pretty little girl, why was his phone still with them and not so he could reach out for somebody to come pick him up when he's ready to leave? We got a lot of questions here. So I think that it's reasonable to be asking for the phones of the other individuals he was with. You're not asking for, the girlfriend that wasn't with him or on the boat. He's just asking for the dudes that he rolled with up there with to turn over their phones, and I think they should.
We have not established a time yet of when we're going to do the mutual inspection of the cell phone. We have to do some technical things. We're getting our experts together, working with phone companies and so forth, but we hope to do that sooner rather than later. This was a big first step for the family getting through the day, so now we can get laser focused on all those things to finish this investigation.
Will Polson with WLOX. Ben, you had mentioned that it had been a couple of days, I think you had said 6 days, since after the state's autopsy was done before you were able to get access to the body. I know whenever it first came out, it was being flown to D.C. and then autopsy planned for that Friday. Can you confirm when that autopsy was done?
They had weather issues, so I do think it.
So I mean, look at the resources they're putting into this case, okay? They flew I don't know if you know how much it costs to fly remains, a human being, most likely in a casket somewhere. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. So they're sending this child to Washington. Sounds like Washington, D.C., or maybe the state of Washington. I didn't quite catch it. But for this secondary autopsy. You know, these are resources that this family would never have otherwise. And I'm going to keep pointing that out because I hear so many people online criticizing this family. They lost a kid. Listen, you know what I criticize? I criticize that whole situation with Carmelo, okay? That I criticize. That I just can't believe a whole bunch of people came together to support a family with a kid that had no problem taking somebody's life, okay? A punk. Now, you're asking me to have that mentality for a kid that lost? No, this is exactly what these guys here are for, right? This is exactly the reason why we got activists on both sides of the aisle. At the end of the day, this is what I want activists spending their time on. Getting answers for families that don't have the ability to get answers for their missing or deceased loved one. Okay, this is what this is all about right here, not that Carmelo bullcrap. Like that was a waste of a whole bunch of activists' time. These are the types of cases that I think are important.
They got the body Friday night or Saturday morning, around that time.
Was that the same day that the autopsy was?
I can't confirm that. I know they received the body, and I think they immediately went to it. It would be in the report the date they did the autopsy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Miss Selena Charles, the Purpose of the People. You guys are supposed to be having a rally on the 26th. Is that still going to occur?
Well, I think that was the community, people who are activists who we're very grateful, standing up, demanding a fair and impartial investigation. And we want to say thank you to all the community leaders and activists standing up saying, no, we want a timeline. We want transparency. We want them to check cell phones. We want everything that you would have done had it been your child.
And that's what it comes down to. And you know damn well that if this was your child, if you were going through this, you want answers. And far too many times we come here, not just here, in adult cases too, where like Ellen Greenberg, she was stabbed in all these. She had a severed spine and was still stabbing herself, allegedly, according to. Come on now, we know that was hogwash. It was bullcrap. And look at the family. The family had at least some type of resources. They're going to the bankruptcy court just about to try to get justice for their daughter. You know, if we had activists like they have activists here that help them through this process, they could have gotten a lot further, a lot quicker. Now, Ellen Greenberg, all these years later, is still classified as a suicide, not a homicide. And we all know that her fiancé most likely killed her. It is so frustrating. It is so frustrating. So I can literally compare why it is so super important for the community to come together and the community to demand answers. And if this was our child, we would want every single bit of answers. He went away a healthy boy and came back in a body bag. Okay? I mean, that is shocking for any parent, and any parent is going to want to know what in the world happened. We want everything. We want the good, the bad, and the ugly, and don't tell me we're not prepared for it. That's not your decision. That's what every single parent says. They want to know.
So that's what they're going to be talking about on the 26th.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, I mean, if we had a Benjamin Crump and an Al Sharpton, going to the Greenberg family, I guarantee we wouldn't be here in the Greenberg family. They're making sure that this is not a Greenberg issue. You know, I don't want to think anybody could hurt this boy, but let's face it. something is not adding up. Now, if it was truly an accident and those boys chose to leave, they created this on themselves because of what they did. They could have picked up the phone, they could have called 911, or you know what, we're probably going to find out is that they were so drunk that they didn't even know he was missing, that he had been swept out to sea. I almost guarantee they probably didn't realize until they got back, and they're like, picked up the phone. It's like, I got Nolan's phone. Where's Nolan? And, you know, I have a funny feeling it's going to be something. I have just this gut feeling that we're going to get into a situation similar to that. He does insert himself in a lot of places, and I agree with that. He inserts himself in a lot of things. I don't normally agree 100% with Al Sharpton. I mean, I agree with the fact he's an activist, and I'm an activist, and so I support activists, you know, rights to be activists, right? I mean, it's a profession I'm in. And he does insert himself in a lot of things, but think about it. He brings a lot of he brings a lot of resources with him. He can stick his nose into a lot of stuff. You know, in all fairness, when we get going again after this whole debacle with Sebastian Rogers' case, when we start getting our stuff back out there, we insert ourselves everywhere as well. And if you want the truth, I do not deny what I do, you know. Absolutely insert ourselves into a lot of different things. We're activists and we're independent journalists. I don't know anybody that would insert themselves in any more places than an activist and an independent journalist. So, you know, I mean, there is that. But he comes with a lot of resources, and he's well known, and he's got name recognition. Anybody that knows Al Sharpton's there, we all know that we're going to be hearing racism from the rooftops, but we're also going to be seeing action getting done. And quite frankly, he gets shit done. You can dog the man. I mean, again, I don't agree with him, but let's be honest. When things need to get done, Al Sharpton's involved. Crap gets done. It may not be the way we would agree for it to be done, but it gets done. I mean, look at all these people he pulled into this. He was able to pull this in lickety split. I mean, he's only been involved in this for about 2 weeks, and look at everything he's been able to accomplish in less than 2 weeks. He was able to get a funeral paid for. He was able to get a funeral moved from one location to another location. He was able to get some high profile names to attend. He was able to get an autopsy. So, you know, I mean, he inserts himself everywhere, but he brings in the stuff that needs to be brought in, you know, for the case. I mean, you can look at it in a lot of different ways. I personally don't like the whole everything's about racism thing, but again, he's got his you know, well-oiled machine that goes in here and helps. Sometimes he's, you know, he has to, for his foundations, he's got to go and get a lot of money from people too, you know. So he works it. I don't know. That's what needs to be done. You go with who he drives me crazy, but it's for the family in need. Exactly. That's where I'm at. He drives me crazy too. I don't like, you know me, he turns everything into a racist thing, you know, and I'm a white person, so I feel like he dogs me 90% of the time. But again, you know, I can understand a family that needs help, and he brought help to that family. And you know what? $100,000 reward now too. So I mean, we can say a lot of things, but at the end of the day, he's truly helping this family, and we can't. No matter how much I'm sorry, I can hear people be called racist from the rooftops as long as they're helping a family. You guys know me, right? You know me. I don't care what you say as long as you're helping, okay? Just keep it moving. Keep it moving, folks. Let's keep it helping, you know? And if it was something that was creating division, I would be, you know, I would be all over it. But I don't feel like this is creating division. I truly believe that this is, I mean, they are saying some things I don't really like to hear, but I don't think it's truly sowing division. I think that they're handling this well, and I think that they're going after finding the truth, and I think that's their mission. And, you know, out of all the things that we see, I think they're handling themselves very, very well. I mean, we know how Al can go off on you know, go take a left turn somewhere, right? And just really dive in. And I don't think he did all that. I mean, he did. That's why I didn't want to watch the eulogy. He does a little bit of it. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad, in all fairness, I'm glad they're there helping this family. I really am. I really am, because, you know, this is not something that we'd have been able to do. I mean, we would have been able to help a little bit, but not like this. This family needed this help, and I'm not going to criticize it. All right, guys, so that's segment one. We're kind of done with segment one, Nolan Wells. We're going to go over to a mini segment two, which is behind me right here, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's the boy out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. On February 25th, 2024, he disappeared. His mother reported him missing on February 26th. He has since had 2 birthdays. He has not been found. Nobody knows where he is. Federal lawsuits have been filed. I was arrested unlawfully. There was a lot of collusion behind the scenes to find a way to arrest me, to try to shut my mouth, which did not work. And then, you know, after the father being disrespected, you know, for the last 2.5 years from the law enforcement body that's supposed to be investigating his son's case, he decides to file suit against the county as well as the Department of Children and Family Services. And I think we need to have a national conversation about the Department of Children and Family Services, because I am so sick and tired of them being able to run without anybody overseeing them. And every time we, the people, their frickin' bosses that fund all this crap, ask them for questions and they scream confidentiality, I'm tired of it. We have no idea what's going on in the Department of Children and Family Services, and anytime we, the people, try to look under the hood to find out what the hell is going on, we're met with confidentiality. We can't share this. We can't share that. You can't know this. You can't know that. I'm tired of it. Then you know what? Let's start pulling funding. The Department of Children and Family Services doesn't want to answer to we, the people. They don't want to answer. They want to hide behind confidentiality. They want to ruin these children's lives. And when we ask them questions, they want to say, oh, we can't say nothing. Well, then fine. It's time for us to start pulling federal funding from all of these programs with our children. They're not working. They're not working. They are robbing us blind. They're squandering our money, and our children are in worse shape now than they have ever been in the history of this country. So what are we going to do about that? I don't know. If you've never heard about Sebastian Rogers' case before, I'm going to play a couple little videos here for you guys to learn. It's about 10 minutes worth of videos. And it's one giving you an overview and then one kind of honing in on a very specific topic point, the phone call. So let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. We are covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's been missing from his home since February 26, 2024. According to everything that we have learned about this case, Sebastian Rogers was last seen on February 25, 2024, while dining with his mother at a local steak restaurant known as the Texas Roadhouse. Allegedly, he left the Texas Roadhouse about 6:22 to 6:25 in the evening, and they proceeded their way home. We do have audio information confirming that Sebastian did in fact arrive to his house on Stafford Court the evening of Sunday, February 25th. Around 6 a.m. on February 26th, his mother allegedly awoke, went to go wake up her son, and found his bed empty. After looking around the home for several minutes, she ended up calling her husband, which was allegedly 3.5 hours away in Memphis, Tennessee, at what is dubbed the St. Jude's Project. Since then, the roads were filled up with a lot of law enforcement. A huge and massive search effort went underway to find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They ended up within 24 hours releasing an Amber Alert. We're learning a lot about these Amber Alert system and the strict criteria needed to get a person on the Amber Alert. So how is it Sebastian got on this Amber Alert without evidence of an abduction 24 hours after he was reported missing? These are a lot of questions that we have no answers to as we're working this case. What I can tell you is their statements have changed wildly. Here are a few examples of the wild changes.
Was his ask, would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. Could the young man get on a bus? I'm sure he could.
We've never done it before.
We've never rode a city bus, so I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense of money. He may have, like, let's say, a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand what $20 would get him.
He's good
Right.
at it, but he doesn't
I understand.
time and money.
It seems awfully funny that, he just can't seem to take care of himself. He doesn't really know much. But when we hear his father talk about him, Seth Rogers, he describes his son more capable than we've ever heard. He says his son is so capable, he goes fishing, he can shoot a gun. There's a lot of stuff that Sebastian does that, from the information we had from the mom and stepfather, we wouldn't believe. And just recently, after the 1-year milestone of this young man being missing, the mom and stepdad come out and say there was a misunderstanding about their son and his capabilities. That's kind of odd. Let's listen to that.
Now, here we are 1 year later.
I struggle to put words to how it feels, honestly. The amount of ups and downs, the amount of possible leads that haven't panned out, that I miss him so much. So at this point, it's keep searching. People keep looking. Keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I refer to my original request, just anyone that's willing, don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in the next story, not to supersede other children, because they all deserve just as much, if not more attention.
Of course they deserve more attention than her son.
I would say just please don't.
That's exactly what a mom would actually say.
Forgotten and lost, because we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna let that happen if we can help it.
With his autism, is there anything else that we should add that you want the public to know right now?
I would say that he is what they would consider high functioning. He's not, he doesn't struggle with verbal communication, but he does, he does struggle sometimes with expressing himself, is, I guess, the best way that I could put that. But he's so smart, and he's so capable, and that I think the initial image of him that was portrayed was misleading to an extent.
Yes, very much misleading to an extent. They're the ones that were feeding the public the information about their son. So why were they being so dubious in explaining the capabilities he had early on? They treated him, or put him into the minds of the people looking for him, that he had an infant's mind. And that is completely untrue. We're going to be diving into this and more today on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And I hope you stick around to learn a little more about these mysterious statements from the mom and stepdad and the recanting thereof. God bless. All right, so I don't know what happened, but I lost my audio, so I might need to reset my audio if the next one doesn't work. Is it yeah, I can't hear that. Hold on a second, guys. Let me put this down. I think I got something happening. Is it... I don't hear anything out of that. Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened. My sound just went, which sucks. Looks like my sound went and my... it just went and something happened. Built in. Let's see if I can hear the speakers this time. Is it possible it's not for someone to call someone? Unbelievable. It's not working for me. Can you guys hear that? You guys can hear it? I just can't? Okay. Well, let me just fix this and let me just pull something out here because it's not coming out of anything. Oh my gosh. So hopefully we don't lose everything today, but maybe we will. Hold on. Oh well, we'll get on it. This is the part about the phone call. Is it possible for someone to call someone, be studying, and falling asleep within 17 minutes after making the call? Would it be realistic for someone to stay on the phone for another hour and a half while they slept? Oh, and by the way, she also heard an alleged thud around 10 when she had fallen asleep. This doesn't make sense. Feel it is a lie. Can we apply Occam's razor? So falling asleep within 17 minutes while studying. Is this possible? Yeah, but only under specific conditions. Extreme sleep deprivation, illness, intoxication, or sedating medication. Passive studying, i.e. reading in bed, lights low. Well, we know that's not true. Sedation, yes. And it's kind of funny that that word comes up, but let's keep reading. It says, is it typical? And the answer is no. Actively studying, especially with cognitive engagement, generally increases arousal. I don't believe the story that she was falling asleep. Is this typical? And it says no. Actively studying, especially with cognitive engagement, generally increases arousal, not sleep onset. A 17-minute sleep latency while genuinely studying is atypical unless the person was already near sleep collapse. Remaining on the phone for 90 minutes while asleep, technically possible, but behaviorally unlikely. So here are the key issues. Phones usually disconnect due to battery drain, network timeouts. Ooh, I never even thought about that. Or movement noise triggering a response. So it sounds like something that we may look into that I didn't look into before this, because we just kind of willy-nilly put this up on the screen. It sounds to me like we might want to look, if somebody's not talking on the phone, would the phone pick that up? That nobody's making a noise and automatically shut itself off? I don't know. I've never thought about that before, but it's saying here, this is what it says. I'll read it verbatim. Phones usually disconnect due to 1, battery drain, 2, network timeouts, or 3, movement/noise triggering a response. Many people subconsciously hang up when they drift off. A sleeping person maintaining a live call for 90 minutes requires no movement, no drop call, no vocalization, no intervention by other party. So they're saying the probability, statistically, it's rare. Practically, it's suspicious. So number 3, hearing thud at 10 p.m. while asleep. This is the most problematic claim. If she fell asleep 17 minutes after the call, remained asleep during most of the 90-minute call, then her awareness of distinct external sounds like a thud requires either 1, partial awakening, subconscious perception, or memory formation. Yet she simultaneously claims continued sleep. That creates cognitive contradiction. You cannot be fully asleep, aware of time. Ooh! That's a great point. How would she have known the time of the thud? All right, well, I hope you guys were able to hear that, because I couldn't hear any of that. To the point where I now have to check to see if I'm going to be able to have audio on my... Actually, I don't know if I will.
I have done.
Okay, good. I got audio, so my videos just didn't want to work for me, so that's what I just needed to check. So it's nice to see you guys. I'm back. It's just the weirdest thing trying to listen, and you guys are saying like we could hear it, and I'm like, okay, well, I might as well just let it roll through, but I couldn't hear a damn thing. So anyways, that's the case with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and of course we learned some information, and this is related to Lauren from Facebook was very good on keeping everything together for us in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, and this is going back to August of 2024 when Sheriff Weatherford passed away from brain bleed caused by an unexplained fall. On August 28, 2024, the Sumner County Council appoints Craddock as the interim sheriff. Now, again, this is a good old boy system. He was the one he's entitled to the position. That's what happens when you have a good old boys club in a specific area. People are installed into those positions not because they're great at their job, but because they're next in line. They're entitled to that position, and that's what is created here, is this entitlement in Sumner County, which is wreaking havoc on their community, and it's going to start costing their taxpayers a lot of money. These good old boy systems are horrible at costing taxpayers a lot of money. Why? Because they're corrupted, and they're taking a lot of that money and putting it in their own personal pockets some way, somehow, through some form, fashion, or means. And that's what's going on. So Weatherford's widow, we know Eric Craddock could do the job. Eric is a piece of garbage that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And I think that this lady, this widow, was reeling from her husband's sudden death and being politically postured and pushed to make these statements for the local GOP. I will not vote for establishment anymore. I am anti-GOP around this country. Why? Because they do not have our best interest at heart, much like the DNC does not have the Democrats' best interest at heart. They're only in it for their own selves and their own power and their own money and their own greed. That's why I look for statesmen, and you'll find out whoever I support are usually the underdogs. Why? Because they are the statesmen. They're not the ones that have all this shit right here. Look at this. Look at this. These things right here, let me go this way. These things right here, when you see these things come into your mailbox, these are all the people you don't want to vote for. Okay? If they've got money like this, they've got special interest money. That means that you're going to elect them, and they're not going to listen to you. They're going to listen to the people that paid for all of this shit. So take these. Keep them. You see me keeping them. I'm keeping them. Whenever I get my ballot, I'm going to make sure that none of these people here are voted for. Why? Because these people here don't represent me or my voice. So just remember that. If you're getting these thick cards, look at those names on those thick cards. Vote opposite of those thick cards. That's my message to the world. And if people want to start saying, Betty, I'm a good agent, I'm a good person, well, then get your ass off the couch and go out there and meet your constituents. Quit mailing them crap. You want to be a statesman? You want to be a good guy? Well, go shake their hands. Get off your couch, get out of your office, and go shake people's hands and quit sending them crap in the mail. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. So I keep them. So whenever I go to the ballot box, I know exactly who I'm not voting for. All of those cards, this thick stock paper that's mailed to me, these tens of thousands of dollars worth of campaign crap, this is nobody in here that needs to work this hard to mail this much money out to people to try to get elected. Nobody in here has my interest. Okay? They don't give a shit about Bullhorn Betty or the fact I want developers out of my county, right? Because all of this right here is paid for with that developer money. So that's why I know these people here, I don't want them. Anybody that sent me anything like this, I'm not voting for. I'm not voting for. So the smaller ones, I'll vote for the smaller ones. Why? Because that shows that somebody has less money, right? These big ones, these things here, sending these every week. Do you know how expensive something like this is? Every week? Every week? This guy's a jack-off. He lied to my face in Tallahassee. You think I'm going to vote for this piece of shit? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, not. He lied to my face. I was sitting on his couch in his office, and he lies to my face. One thing you don't do is lie to Betty. You can be honest with me and tell me to keep things secret or keep things off the record or do this or do that, but one thing you don't want to do is lie to me. When I ask you a straight question and you lie to me, never again. You were on that list, and that list, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but that list is still growing, and at some point, whenever I have an opportunity to throw you under a bus, if you're on that list, you're going under a bus. I'm one of those people that, know the time and know the place, okay? So I might be holding something in my back pocket for a little minute until it's the time, until it's the place, and then whap, there it is. So this is kind of all the stuff. And then I decided, you know what? This is coming out today about Eric Craddock because, like I told you guys many times, he's just a pretty face on what? He's just a pretty face on a postcard. He's just a pretty face on a postcard. That's why he was elected. He looks good in a uniform, okay? That's it, okay? That's to the extent of his abilities to be sheriff. He looks good on a postcard. So we're not going for people that look good for postcards. We're going for people that know how to do the job. Clearly, he doesn't know how to do the job. You know how I know that? Because whenever a father of a missing child comes up to a sheriff, I guarantee if there's a missing child in my community and they need to talk to Rick Wells would make time for them. My sheriff would make time for that family. They may get the information they don't want to hear. They may be told they can't do this, but my sheriff would never be caught running away and hiding in a locked building. Okay? That's a coward. That's a coward. And in my opinion, oh, which reminds me, somebody else gave me a gifted Bullhorn Betty member. Hold on a second. Thank you, Melanie. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. House call, you received that Bullhorn Betty membership. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Veronica B. truly gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. River, my little sis. It's official. You're part of the BHB family. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. I would say grab your straitjacket in your padded room, but you've been in the room next to me all this time. We know where you've been. I'm just joking. Welcome to this crazy family, guys. Welcome to this crazy family. And for the two ladies, because I'm a love machine. Ow! A little loud, but I'm a love machine. So now that we have an idea of who Sebastian Rogers is, a little bit about his story, and learning that the sheriff lost his life, the sheriff running the investigation, well, he was never really running the investigation. I went all the way back to the beginning, and I don't recall ever seeing Sonny out there at all, as a matter of fact. I remember Eric Craddock being the face of this investigation almost since day one. So, you know, I don't know. It was really upsetting to hear Sonny Weatherford lost his life. I would never want anybody to lose their life, you know. But at the end of the day, it couldn't have happened at a worse time in this investigation. But here's what Sonny told two private investigators that were hired and working for or on the behalf of Seth Rogers at the time. Now, I would never recommend these PIs. They went way over. They violated ethical standards for PIs. They did things that they weren't supposed to do. They did not hand over the documentation to their client as required by law. And so Heather Cohen and this Chloe, whatever her name is, they should have their licenses revoked, in my opinion, for the shit they did in this case.
A 5-mile grid around the house, and we've done all that. And we actually have where every person took a footstep to know we covered every block.
Right, you did the grid search. Okay.
And then what we had them download an app that actually showed us where they were stepping.
Start topo.
Yeah. So we knew exactly where they went.
Okay.
And so we've done that, we did it for a whole week, and then we've gone back and we did it another 2 days, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And so we drained ponds.
I knew you guys did that.
We had divers in ponds.
Yeah.
We've got.
My question has always been, why do we have divers in ponds? If they would have taken 5 minutes to open up their ears, they would have known Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was an avid swimmer. And he would never fall into a river or a pond and not know how to save himself. Moreover, because of his autism, he can't stand dirt. So he would never run to a pond. He would never run to a stream. If he wanted to jump in water, you would be more likely to find him in one of the neighbors' pools before you found him in the local community pond. Just saying. But again, I think the problem I have is this proof that Chris and Katie refused to cooperate with law enforcement even out the gate at this juncture? Because how did they get so many details about Sebastian wrong at the beginning when the only person that they were communicating with, allegedly, was Katie Proudfoot? She knew her son knew how to swim. She knew her son did not like bugs. She knew her son had a grass allergy. She knew her son's proclivities for putting on shoes and socks before leaving the house. Even if he did go out to the mailbox to pick mail up or take the garbage out barefoot, he was never intending to leave the home. So if he was running away, he intends to leave the home, and if he intends to leave the home, he knows socks and shoes must go on his feet. Yet no socks and shoes were on his feet. And he went out on dirt in grass? When he has a grass allergy, hates dirt and hates bugs, but he's going to sneak out in the middle of the night. Like, I mean, even if he was going to sneak out in the middle of the night or decide to run away from home, he would have gotten 5 minutes down the road and ran back home because he was met with dirt, bugs, and grass. He would have been like, I'm not doing this. He would have went back to the house, punched in the code, and went back to bed. You know? And then you're bringing up another valid point. Why'd you hit my night box? Oh. Did you like a custom shirt? Or you erased that. You should have erased that, Sonia. Was not Sebastian's scent. There was no Sebastian scent, even though he was barefoot when he left the house. That should have been the cement and the concrete should have picked up plenty of skin cells off bare feet, or even through the socks. The socks themselves would have probably left more evidence behind, because it would have had microscopic fibers left on the concrete and cement from the little, you guys know how cement is. And you guys have felt cloth, straight cloth on cement. It sticks. It sticks because of how they brush it, and it gets a little porosity, and it sticks. And even though you can walk on your socks on it, if you look at it really closely, you'll see little fibers of your socks, snagged on snagged areas of the concrete or asphalt. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on. I think I'm not breathing well. So I need to breathe a little more. Oh, good gracious.
I know all the footage of every camera that's on either street.
Mm-hmm.
And
just nothing.
That's nothing. We see him go into the house,
mm-hmm.
but we never see him come out of the house.
Wow.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. But,
So this is the first time and the only time we have confirmation from any law enforcement agent or body that Sebastian went into the house. Now, the problem is people don't believe it. Sonny told these people they have evidence that this child went inside that home, but they have zero evidence that this child ever left that home. That is significant. Now, I want to just put this back into perspective for each and every one of you. We have a situation where a child disappeared. We now know, based upon the father's lawsuit to Sumner County, we really don't know what is in the details of the CPS one, because, of course, they file that under seal. Because we're not, the American people that are footing the bill for this tyranny amongst our children and family services and robbing children out of homes without proper charges or anything else to those parents, and then we're finding out all of this terrible stuff, and every time we go to sue them or want this information out there for the world to see so they know how terrible this government organization is, they block the public out intentionally and willfully. They file everything under seal. Everything has to be confidential. The public is not allowed to know that they are injuring and children are dying in their care and custody and control. And this is all being withheld from the American people at mass levels. If this is happening in Sebastian in Sumner Wells case, and we see it in Orrin West's case all the way over here in Oakland, California, or Bakersfield, California, and we're seeing Harmony Montgomery. These are kids all over the United States that are being failed by the system that we pay billions of dollars to every single year to fund, and they're not doing their job. They're laundering our money, and they're forcing us out. This is the biggest fraud, probably bigger than the fraud of our stuff in Minnesota, because this is decades of fraud. This is decades of fraud upon the people, and they have been working diligently with our law enforcement and our judiciary and our legislatures to block the American people out. We've got to fight this. We got to make the Department of Children and Family Services a hell of a lot more transparent. And no, they do not get to hide under confidentiality. Changes have got to be made, and this has got to be made all over this country.
We have footage where they were in Hendersonville eating, and they left there and went to their house. Right. We saw them go in the house, and then 6:20 maybe, he comes out and takes the trash to the end of the road, at the end of the driveway, and we see.
So you see that they have evidence that he went inside that house before he took out the garbage. They're not basing their evidence of Sebastian going into that house based upon him taking the garbage out. They saw him go into the house. According to Sonny Weatherford, he went inside that home. They have evidence that he is inside that home now. Then, allegedly, he comes out and takes the garbage out after he goes inside the home. So this is the first and only time that we've ever heard any law enforcement body on the record acknowledge that Sebastian made it to his home. And I think that this is important because many people don't believe he knew what he was saying because he misstated the time for when he took the garbage out. The garbage should have been taken out around 7:20, not 6:20. So because he made that mistake, everybody alluded that he must have made the mistake about Sebastian coming home. And I don't believe they did. I believe they do have evidence. I believe that some camera picked Sebastian up in the passenger seat of her car. So I believe that he did make it home, and these are the reasons why. But some people don't. They think he misspoke about all of this. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Him go back in the house, turn on some lights in his bedroom. That's it.
That was from a neighboring camera, I'm assuming. It's from a neighboring camera that you can see all that, yeah.
So I just want to make sure you guys understand what you just heard from Sonny Weatherford. He said that Sebastian went home, he made it to the house, he walked into the house, and the only time he walked out was to take the garbage out. And then after he took the garbage out, he could clearly see his bedroom light come on. The bedroom light come on. Katie Proudfoot in the garage, parked in the garage that night. If they had no evidence of him walking out or leaving, my guess is he left in the SUV. Yes, that's kind of where we're at. But we can't forget those weird lights in the common area. There was 2 specific lights. They're trying to say that this was some reflection on a light. I'm sorry, there is no car driving up and down a road that puts a reflection in that common area for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Maybe for 10 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that. But for this car to be there for and it have that reflection for 1.5 minutes, a full 1.5 minutes, that's impossible, because the road that they're saying that car was on would take 1.5 minutes to drive from the front of that road to the back of that road. It's hard for them to be in one specific area having that light look like it's moving. It doesn't make sense. So I absolutely do not believe that law enforcement, the Sumner County, is having that video analyzed. They have determined it's nothing, and they're not even sending it to NASA. They're not doing what they're supposed to do to confirm that information, because again, it comes down to their friends and their friends' family that are spending a lot of money in that community on impact fees. And that's what, and as you know, they're a broke community, so all they care about is that impact fees. Thank you, Let Them 66. She says, happy Tuesdays, prayers and love. Prayers to all. Thank you so much for that. And we've got Aletha. Thank you, Miss Aletha. She says, good morning. We are fixing to leave to go see my stepson for his graduation from boot camp. Well, aren't you just a happy stepmommy? We will absolutely pray for your safe travels and pray over your stepson as well as he embarks on his new journey in the military. Well, welcome. I'm so happy. That's wonderful news. Wonderful news. Thank you, Lori. Well, you guys know that Seth is near and dear to my heart. You know, we went to jail for this case. We lost our freedom over this case, and we have fought with everything that we and this channel has to find out answers in this case, because we're fighting a corrupted government. BHB, warm your voice and sing happy birthday to me, please, before the show is over. Is it your birthday, Unicorn? I didn't even see it was your birthday. I will certainly do that. Let me get through this segment and then we'll do it. I got the hat. I got to the hat. Let's get through this real quick. Oh, but just to let you know what we've got here. So again, just to reiterate, we have the sheriff of Sumner County at the time, Sonny Weatherford, before he lost his life. He said that Sebastian made it home. They saw him, confirmed he made it home. They parked, they went into the house, and a few moments later, he comes out and takes the garbage out to the road. Then they see him go back into the house, and he goes into his room and turns on his room light. So that is what Sonny Weatherford just told us. Okay, now we're go.
Said when she called us, we had people go to the house, search the house. We even got thermal imaging to check all the walls in the house. Just to make sure that he wasn't stepped in a wall somewhere. Because we don't show him leaving the house, which is the strangest thing for me.
The footage of him taking out the trash, was it pretty dark by then? That was before the time change? It was before the time change, right?
And so the reason we went to the landfill in Kentucky was because the trash was collected that Monday morning.
Right.
Right about dark.
Right.
And so, you know, I had, my opinion, one of the best teams. We had TBI, FBI,
yeah,
Secret Service, we had TEMA, and then we had at least 200 volunteers that were in law enforcement or first responders on the ground every day. And I'm not telling you, I'm just trying to give you information on what we have done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we've even called people with like cold cases and say, how did you find them? This is what we've done. And every one of them tells us, you've done everything you can do except find it.
Right.
You did not do everything you do because you did not process the house as a crime scene or even look at the parents as being possible murderers or hiders or felon whatever kidnappers, right? Taking them felony what is it, parental right, that felony charge of parental right, interfering with parental custody or something like that. You know, they didn't even charge them with that, nothing. And it's like, you know, this family has lied and lied and lied. They've been caught in lies, and Smooth Chris always seems to cover it up. And it's like, you know, now we're learning that their trash went to this freaking landfill. What did they find in the landfill? And we've been asking since day one about these cameras, and now for the first time because of this lawsuit, we realized there were cameras around the house. They're just alleging that they were not working, yet we have a woman that installs and takes care of all these cameras, so she could have absolutely wiped a system. They needed thorough investigation from a more advanced government entity like the FBI or U.S. Marshals or Secret Service or somebody that had the ability to do some of this Google searching stuff and find out what's in the residual data behind the scenes. Did they ever collect the cameras? If not, where are those damn cameras? How many things did they drop the ball on in this case?
And I wish we'd get a tip today and we could find it.
You said within a 5-mile radius.
Well, that's land search.
Yeah, land search.
There's a creek, several hundred yards, Rex Creek. We had TWRA walk both sides of the bank and then the creek itself all the way to Hendersonville. And then they did it out towards White House. And like I said, every pond that we have been able to find has been searched.
And I assume that you're aware that
he would not be in a pond. They wasted their time and resources, and mom and stepdad should have told them that at the very beginning. He would not be in a pond. He's not running toward ponds. He hates dirt. He's a great swimmer. You're going to find him in a pool before you find him in a pond.
right there on her where those woods connect, that is a sex offender with 4 aggravated sexual assault charges.
I didn't know it, but
yeah.
So I don't do our list either. But I got one this morning said that the stepfather drove up here and got him and took him back to the job site and buried him on the job site. I'm like,
you don't think
you got proof?
Yeah, I mean.
So
I did get a tip. I've been involved for probably a month.
So he got tips, and you see how they just blew it off. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's not true. So did they even investigate that tip? Did you hear how cavalier Sonny was about that tip? Let's listen to this.
Know it, but
yeah.
So I don't do our list either.
But
I got one this morning said that the stepfather drove up here and got him and took him back to the job site and buried him on the job site. I'm like,
you don't think
have
there's...
you got proof?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Anything that came to the related to the Chris and Katie Proudfoot or the stepfather, they dismissed those leads. Listen to how this is even Sonny Weatherford. He himself dismissed this. So what do you think his understudy is going to do? What do you think Eric Craddock's going to do? He dismissed this. Sonny Weatherford dismissed it. Shame on Sonny for that. I don't think they ever even investigated it, guys. Sebastian could be literally on Chris's old job site, and Sumner County didn't take these leads seriously. They didn't even take these leads seriously. And you guys, we have yahoos out here on social media condemning the father for taking Sumner County to court over this horse shit. Okay.
I mean,
so
I did get a tip. I've been involved for probably a month now. I did get a tip a couple Mondays ago. A man drove up to me at the Rudder, and he said the morning of the 26th, around 5:30 in the morning, Kathy Bowersox was parked right beyond the Shell on New Hope. He said he had called it into Sumner County, but he hadn't heard anything back, and I believe Sebastian's dad called it in again. I'm sure footage has been pulled from the Shell right there. I don't know what other cameras would be right there. It looks like maybe there's like a storage unit kind of thing right beyond that Shell, Worsham's Market, you know. And the only reason I really believe there is validity, number one, I didn't feel like the man was lying to me, but also it was anonymously posted from someone, I think it was someone else because they described it a little bit differently.
You're talking about the mothers?
I will tell you this. There were 6 independent people that are unrelated to each other that were very aware of who Kathy Bowersox is. She's a well-known realtor in the area. And they recognized her vehicle as well as her on the side of the road. And these are 6 different independent people ranging from 5:30 to 5:45 that allegedly passed her while she was sitting on the side of the road that time of morning.
Christopher's mother,
Okay.
Kathy Bowersox, apparently has a decently recognizable SUV, probably because she's a real estate agent, that she was parked beyond Worsham's on the side of the road at 5:30 in the morning on February 26th, so about an hour before Sebastian was reported missing. I don't know. That's a little odd to me, and I just wanted to make sure y'all did have that tip.
I can tell you I don't know all the...
Maybe, well, I guess maybe hopefully Carter has that tip.
I mean, I should say, everything goes to him.
Right.
Is he available?
He's not here today.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have an interview with him for a promotion.
Oh.
He got sent to another county on a case.
Gotcha.
All right.
All I can tell, because TBI, and so we really can't release more than what I've told you right now.
Yeah, and that's
You can't release the missing persons report, like the initial report, not the...
So as you see, as soon as they brought Kathy Bowersox up, he starts shutting them down. Well, I can't talk to you anymore about what that I've already talked to you about, you know, because of TBI. And he started giving excuses and excuses and excuses on why he couldn't, you know, talk anymore about that. But as soon as, you know, the Bowersox name was brought up, you saw everybody shut down. Now, mind you, Sonny Weatherford's wife is friends with Miss Bowersox. The whole family's intertwined with their entire political network in this community, and you wonder why this is moving at a snail's pace. I would recommend you guys go look about Brooks Houck and Crystal Rogers from Bardstown, Kentucky, and how long Brooks was able to go without justice because of his family and the politics of his family and the side payments of turning the other way. In that case, in backwoods, you know, good old boy system in Bardstown, Kentucky, that left a little girl, a woman, a mom of 5, without justice for over a decade. You know, and that's the result of good old boy systems. That is the result of good old boy system. So if you don't like that kind of justice, why are you keep voting for it back in Sumner County? because you are voting for this. You are enabling what's going on in the Sebastian Rogers case right now by hiring the people that you're hiring in that community. They don't have your best interest at heart. They're robbing you blind, and they are not giving you the services you're paying for. And when your children go missing, your children's missing person file gets dust on it. If that's what you want, well, keep voting the way you're voting until it's your child. Thank God it's this guy's child, right? Thank God it's just Seth's child. It's not your child. What would you be doing if it is your child? So, anyways, that is for that segment. You know, Sebastian Rogers obviously is it's a case that really riles me up because it's so horrible, and the whole entire government is poisoned in this area, and they need new leadership. And my suggestion is fire everybody. When I go into communities like this, you'll find out, like Pima County, I don't care if there's good people or bad people. As far as I'm concerned, when you have this much corruption, everybody is poisoned. So I'm just one of those people. It's fire everybody. You got every 2 years we're going to have an election. So start getting people out this year, start getting people out in 2028, start getting people out in 2030, or 2030, start getting people out in 2032. But within that 8-year period, we should have an entire new government that's working for the people. But the first thing you guys need to do, and this is a message to everybody all over this country, this right here, anybody on these things, we don't want in our government. Okay? I don't want anybody that's sending me this crap in our government. Nobody. If they want my vote, they know where my front door is. Come sit down and talk to me. Otherwise, I'm going for the person that I believe is the statesman in my community. All right, so Unicorn, Indiana, it is her birthday. So we do 2 birthdays a year. I might have to start moving to monthly. Or, every other week birthdays, so we can sing to a lot of people at once as we're growing. I mean, we're up at almost 50,000 subscribers. So if you guys have never been to the Bullhorn Betty show, I don't sing well, okay? But I sing. I do sing good. I just choose not to sing good. We're not going to do like Whitney Houston. Happy birthday. No. We do a little funky junky. We go back to the days of real good music in the Broadway show, right? So for Unicorn, if you guys would like to join in with me, we're going to be singing Miss Unicorn happy birthday. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Unicorn, Indiana. Happy birthday to you. It's not your birthday. What you running in here for? It ain't your birthday. You little naked thing. You little naked thing. Come give me your naked body. Come here. Come here. You don't even have your collar on. What is Mommy doing with you? She's not dressing you. She's not doing nothing. She got you naked little butt running around the house. Look at her naked little butt. She came running in for you, Unicorn. She's like, ooh, whose birthday is it? It's my birthday. Is it my birthday, Mama? Is it my birthday? I said, no, it's not your birthday. It's Unicorn's birthday. It's Unicorn's birthday. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Say, ooh, I like this position. Mommy's got me all comfy. I'm comfy. Oh, but I don't like it when she rocks me. Hi, everybody. I'm the crime-fighting dog. Oh, she's going for the microphone. Say something. You want to say something in the microphone? You want to say something in that microphone? Say, no, Mommy. No, Mommy. I love you, Mommy. I love you, too. I love you, too, Miss Lila. I love you, too, she said. Someone said cake. I know. That's basically what it was. She comes running in here. All you heard is her little paw. Look over, and she's running in. She's going, doo, doo, doo. It's my birthday, Mama. It's my birthday. It's not her birthday. It's my birthday. That's okay, honey. Unicorn says she'll share. She'll share. All right, guys. Well, we are going to get into our next segment. So we've already gone through 2 segments this morning. We went over Nolan Wells, his funeral. We got to see Al Sharpton say the prayer. We got to hear from Mom and Dad. We got to cover the press conference. Then we went over to Sebastian Rogers. We got some tidbit of information, not forgetting Sonny Weatherford and his statements about the case, Sebastian making it home, but never being seen again. Very, very highly suspicious. And now we're moving over to the Siders family. Now, this case has rocked our nation. It has questioned everything from our policies and procedures for our hospitals to our policies and procedures for our enrollment of students to how in the hell did we get here? Okay, this has shaken this country to its core because, one, we had no earthly idea there were 16 children from this family. That's first. Let alone them neglecting them so severely that all 16 children now had to be a dependent of the state, which is very, very costly. Okay, putting children in homes. If I could tell you that some of these homes cost $1,000 a day, okay, you're talking about major, major expenses for 16 children going into the system on a very poor county system, right? This county can't afford it. This county is a very small county that doesn't have a whole lot of revenue coming in. They can't afford this kind. They have no budget for this kind of event in their community. And a lot of people don't understand that. Why is Sebastian not being searched more? Why are they not doing this? They don't have the money to fund these things, okay? We got a lot of poor counties here, and nobody's wanting to talk about the reality of this. They're spending money on bullcrap and not the necessary things that our government was designed to do, like safety and investigations. But I bet you guys have really beautiful parks. So this is a situation where this community seriously can't afford this type of event. So they had to go to the state and ask them for $1 million, and that's just to get started. These kids are going to take a lot more of that because I know how expensive it is for these things. They're trying to get these children into foster care homes because it's cheaper to be in a foster care home and give a foster family $1,000 or $2,000 a month for the children versus a day. These programs, these housings, they're very costly. I don't understand how our government can't seem to get costs down on these facilities. How can private companies run their facilities at half to 3/4 of the cost of the government running the facility? It makes no sense. It just tells me that our government doesn't give a shit. They just waste money. They just waste. They just do whatever they do, the path of least resistance, whatever it costs, right? They're not having to pay for it. But at the end of the day, this is what we're dealing with. And so we're trying to find out what is the true reality of this situation. What is the true reality of the Siders family dynamic? Who is the ultimate responsible party? We have 2 aging parents. We have a young girl or a mom that was married as a young girl, that was probably ruled with an iron fist, so to speak. And she's very timid and very she seems very scared all the time. And so I'm reviewing their trip to jail. And the one thing you notice about Elizabeth out of all of this is how scared she looks out of everybody. How she's just scared. Like, I feel like she's an abused woman. I don't know what she's gone through. I really don't. But we're just going to play a few moments of this from Anjanette Levy and her crime fix.
4 Siders family members as they were taken to jail after deputies said they found 16 children in their home, I'll take you through these videos and what they show us. And we'll also look at what's likely going on inside the investigation right now.
So you guys saw that. I just wanted to show you that aspect of it because this is where we're going to kind of dive into this, because this is where I feel I want you guys to look at Elizabeth. That's why I had to take that off. I don't think I'm allowed to use that music, so I'll deal with that at that time. So we'll go back this up just a little bit. So if I've got to cut that out, I can. So this is them in the jail right here. But I want you to look at the difference of Christina and Elizabeth. You can see Elizabeth over here. I want you to look at their body language in this. So you're seeing Christina, she's following commands, and you look right over there at Elizabeth, and she is just terrified. She's terrified. She's shaken. This is so much different. All of those kids, except for the twins and the youngest, should all go to separate homes as they're going to need years of service. That's sad. The children shouldn't be... But 16 children is too many children for any one family to take in. But look at her. She's very intimidated. She's scared. She's I don't know. I don't know. There's something not right with this, Elizabeth. I just don't know. I really just don't know. So I just thought it was very interesting to see their different body behaviors. You know, when they were being checked in, she was just very timid. She was very scared. And whenever we're hearing from the convenience store employee, she was very quiet and always held her head down. Like, I feel like she was being abused by her husband, physically and mentally abused by her husband.
I just found something out about the Siders family case that does not make sense. But first, I want to talk about Linda Siders, Gary Jr.'s sister, and the daughter of Christina Siders and Gary Sr. So according to all of Elizabeth's family that has spoken out, they have said that Linda was the one that kept in contact with Elizabeth's mother, Lori, to tell her when she would have another baby. She would message very vague. She would not say much. All she would say is, "You're having another grandbaby." She would not respond to Lori if Lori asked how Elizabeth was or anything. That was the only thing she would say. And Lori stated that it became so often that she would text and say another grandbaby that she didn't believe her at one point. She said that every year she received another message that another grandbaby was arriving. But yet they were never seeing these kids. They hadn't seen Elizabeth in a long time. It had been many years. And Elizabeth finally showed up to a family outing with Gary Jr., but no children. Lori has said when she did finally get to see Elizabeth that she was a different person, that she did not even recognize her own daughter anymore. But I'm going to be honest, I do not feel sorry for Lori. She did this to her own daughter. But back to Linda, because I think Linda should be charged also. I'm about to show you a few photos that is on Linda Siders' Facebook page. The first photo is of Christina and Gary Sr., a picture in front of the house. They're sitting there. And the next photo is a picture of Linda, Christina, and Gary Sr. And you can see that the parents are wearing the exact same outfit as the photo before. And if you look closely in the background of the photo of the three of them, you can tell they are at the House of Horrors. So if Linda was informing Elizabeth's family about all these children that were being born and was visiting this home often, she had to know the conditions that these children were living in.
Yes, she did. She would have had to know. She's the one that knew that Elizabeth was having so many kids. She looks normal. Why wasn't she taking her parents in if they were living like this? How could she not see through those windows and see how her parents were living? Did she know? Did she not know that Gary and his wife and 16 children were, asked up in mommy and daddy's house? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they were outside. I don't know. But it seems like she didn't go inside that house because she knew what was inside that house. That's why she took all those pictures outside.
There is just no way around it. There's no way she did not understand or know. She knew that Elizabeth was having a child almost every single year, or whoever in the house was having it, and they was just putting it on Elizabeth. She was informing Elizabeth's mother every time that there was another baby born. And Elizabeth's mother has even stated that it was so often that it was unbelievable. So my question is why has Linda Siders not been charged also? She was very aware of what was going on with these children. She knew the conditions. She did not try to get these children help. She just condoned it pretty much. Because what kind of sick person can go to a house and see 16 children living in those conditions and not report it? Now I'm going to go over what does not make sense about this case since finding these things. So allegedly 2 Facebooks have been found that are connected to the 2 oldest children in the house. And it doesn't make a lot of sense that the police stated that even the oldest children didn't know how to communicate or talk or spell, because they're on Facebook. I'm not going to show the names of the Facebooks because they are children. And I'm going to show you the photos or some of the posts that these girls have posted. And they're very sad. They are talking about how terrible their dad is, how terrible that their mom is. And guess who likes every single post on these 2 Facebook's page? Christina Siders. Some of the things that these girls posted will make you be like, yes, she was getting abused by her mom and her dad. And it is sad that if this is their 2 Facebook pages and they actually did post these things, they felt this way. They were living a really bad life. It doesn't seem that they would ever really type out statuses. It seems like they would just share photos or memes or whatever, and it all had to do with how neglectful their mom and their dad was to them.
Sad.
And Christina Siders had the nerve to like all of them. Another reason I do believe that this is the 2 girls' Facebooks is because they posted a picture of the same cats that were seen in the crime scene photos of the house in front of the house. Something just does not add up. Elizabeth told her attorney that she felt like she was a full-time mom. That's why she did not work. And that Gary Jr. occasionally DoorDashed for money. And it does seem that they did have 2 vehicles. I have no clue if they actually ran or what, but you can see 2 vehicles in the photos of the house. Another big thing that I just do not understand is Elizabeth stated to her attorney that she birthed these children in a hospital. What hospital did not report her? Because I'm sorry, when I had my children, they ask you why your toenail color is the wrong color and would that cause you to abuse your child. What I'm stating is like they ask so many questions and it's so easy to get a social worker in your room after you give birth. And if she really did give birth at a hospital every single time, why are there no records of these children? I'm really wondering if why they moved counties so many times is so Elizabeth could give birth in different hospitals every time. And I've also seen statements that she gave birth to every child at home. And that's what I initially believed, because how could she have 16, 18, 19, 20 kids in a hospital and no one report anything? There has also been a gravesite discovered that looks like it is Elizabeth's set of twins. I do believe that we have no record of these twins that we have a gravesite for. The last set of twins that we knew Elizabeth gave birth to because of the records was February 10th, 2022, with the initials SS and NS. Bailey and Faith Siders were born almost exactly 9 months after the birth of those twins. My opinion, Elizabeth got pregnant again right after she birthed those twins. It's very easy to get pregnant after you have a baby. And I think maybe the twins were born premature and that could be why they lost their life. I do believe that this is a set of twins that was born at home, not in the hospital, because there is no records of these 2 babies. They were born and passed away on November 20th, 2022, the same year the other set of twins were born. Could you imagine having 2 sets of twins in the same year? To show you Jeremy Russell's Facebook post, he has posted and he is said to be the more aware brother, that Joey is just not all there in the head, but that Jeremy is. He's turned off his messaging. I did reach out to him before he turned it off, so I'm hoping he responds and reaches out and gives any of his knowledge about this case. I have talked to someone that grew up with the Russell family. They went to school with them, and they said that they just seemed normal, that Joey seemed a little out there, but Jeremy was a good kid and was normal. He always did the right thing. Elizabeth was way younger than Jeremy, Joey, and the person I'm talking to. So she didn't know her all that well, but she seemed like a sweet girl, she said. And that once she got with Gary Jr., it's just like her life changed. And I want to state that we can see Elizabeth as a victim, but it does not excuse what happened to these children. Accountability and compassion can exist in the same sentence. Because although she might have been a victim, what she allowed to happen is not okay.
Yeah, but what has happened is not okay when you're not being abused. When you're being abused, you're a victim just like the children are. I mean, you're all in the same shit show, the same boat.
Those kids, the only way I met some of those kids was like when going to a yard sale or something, and I remember saying, gee, those kids must be outside playing in the dirt or something. And the neighbor said, oh, no, the kids are always like that. And I thought, that's a really shame too. This is just out of the ordinary. I will remain shocked over it. I lost some sleep over it even, because I couldn't help but think of the kids and how long it might have been going on. It's just shocking. 16 kids in that kind of condition. This is going to last a long time, being shocked. It's not going to go away in a year. It's not going to go away in a couple of years. It's going to be long lasting. That's the truth. The only way I met some of those kids.
We're learning more about Elizabeth Siders, who were slapped with truancy charges in October of 2021 after 6 of their kids failed to show up for school. That was just a 5-minute drive from where they lived at the time. Well, now, 5 years later, investigators described the children as almost feral when found with none enrolled in school. The couple, as well as their paternal grandparents, Christine and Gary Siders Sr., are all facing 16 counts of child endangerment. For more, I'm now joined by News Nation Law and Justice Control.
I'm not going to go to Jennifer Coffindaffer's comments just yet. 16 rescued from Ohio, exploring the timeline. And this just goes, at least one of the 4 adults charged with 16 counts of endangerment scheduled to appear in court this week. The other anticipated movements anticipate movement from a grand jury. Gary Siders, 73, Christina Siders, 66, Gary Siders Jr., 36, and Elizabeth Siders, 33, were arrested on June 30th and charged with 16 counts of endangering children. Gary Siders Jr. is due in court this week on separate cases, as he's been charged with 4 counts of public indecency, and I think that's him urinating outside. I don't know if it's from him fondling himself or something like that. I think he was urinating outside and somebody saw his junk. Deputies say they found 16 kids who were allegedly kept isolated in a 12-by-12 room. Officials said 7 children were hospitalized. 2 of them were flown to trauma centers and are now being cared for through the state. Although court filings were frequent in the first few days, the court slowed issuing responses last week. The judge granted gag orders in Gary Siders Jr.'s case. I knew it was his case. We were getting other things that it was the other cases, but also Christina has also equally requested a gag order in her case as well. All adults but Gary Siders Jr., who was released on bail because he required hospitalization from severe medical condition, are in jail awaiting action from the grand jury. I'm hearing that Elizabeth Siders is working on trying to get out of jail right now. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate you. So she's in the process of trying to get out of jail now. They're going to all have no contact with their children. If Elizabeth Siders is a victim, then she is going to be the most, which I do believe she's a victim in part. I think because she's been married with Gary since she was only 15, I don't think she knew she had an out. I don't think she knew she could leave. I don't think she knew these things. It seems like out here in Ohio, in these rural areas, they're marrying their children off young, maybe because the parents are poor and can't afford and would rather their child be out there than be under their roof because they can't afford the child. I don't know what it is, but even in Gary Siders' own household, family members of him were married off at 14 and 15 years old. So this is a common practice in this area. And in this area, when you're married off young, the possibility of domestic violence goes through the roof. And I believe that, yeah, she's docile now, she's timid now, but what did she go through? She's been with this man since she was 15. She's 38. What is that, like 13 years? 13 years she's been with this man? Almost half her life on this earth? She may not be a problem for him now because he beat the crap out of her, 12 years ago to the point where she knew better, So I'm not willing to, this is another case where normally I'd be coming down on mom, but I don't know what the dynamics are here. And it looks like we've got a very much an abused mom, Elizabeth Siders, we have a completely missing father, grandpa here, senior. He's gone. His brain is not functioning on all cylinders because of his age, and probably most likely dementia or other elder type of ailments that he's probably dealing with as he's aging. And then, of course, Christina, which appears to be more lucid, along with her son. But again, the only person that looks the same out of all of these people is Junior. He is 23 years. Thank you. He is the only one. The only one. So she's been with him more than she's been without him. That's just, that just tells you a lot. I think she was heavily abused early on in their relationship, and she knows just not to rile her husband. But everybody else has changed significantly. His mom, his dad, and his wife have changed significantly. The only person that looks the same from way back when he got with Elizabeth to what he looks like now, the only person that hasn't really changed at all is Gary Jr. So he's the one that's been getting everything. He's the one feeding himself. He's the one doing everything he wants to do while everybody else around him suffers. I believe we're going to find out Junior is the catalyst to all of this. I really feel like we're going to find that out. But I don't know. We don't know what dynamic it is, but we know there's something here. And why did his sister not call in for help when it came down to them? Again, it's something that I don't quite understand. Why in the world did this happen? How could this happen? Mental abuse is equally shameful. It's 10 times. I'm sorry. I've had mental abuse. I've been in a relationship where somebody completely, utterly mind effed me. And I've been in abusive relationships where I was physically abused. And I got to tell you, the mental abuse, it scarred me a lot more than the physical abuse did. Some of the mental stuff still lingers in my life to this day. It's still, something that I work on frequently to try to, resolve, that's still out there, that still just never really goes away. The physical side of things, that has happened, that I haven't been physically abused by a man for, many years, but mental abuse, verbal abuse, spiritual abuse, those types of abuses, yeah, and they've left deeper scars than the physical. The physical stuff I've overcame and don't really have a whole, because it's been so long since I've been physically abused that, I would never put up with physical abuse. But even when you don't put up with physical abuse, sometimes, verbal abuse you can't run away from, because you get verbal abuse from a lot of different people, right? Not just family members. You get it from, say, if you're a teacher, from the students, or, work, bosses. There's a lot of verbal abuse out there, and people don't consider that verbal abuse, but it is. I pop off at the mouth as well, so, whatever. I mean, whenever I want to hurt somebody, I hurt them with words, as much as I can. So, so that's kind of where we are with the Siders family. I don't know what to think. I'm still trying to, get some footing on this. I know these children were treated pretty poorly, but it sounded like a lot of people in this household were being treated really poorly. And what was the catalyst to it all? That's what I'm trying to find out, because if it's all four of them that created this situation, then they all four need to pay the piper. But if this truly was created by one or two of them, like Junior and Elizabeth, well, then they're the ones that need to be paying the most cost for all of this. We need to figure out how this came about, what happened, who is the guilty party, who's the heavy hand, and how was this dynamic kept from everybody for so long until it got to this point? That's the question we have. And how many more of the kids would have died as a direct result of this lifestyle? That's another question I have. Is the reason why some of these children, they're not mentally there, is it because maybe the mom was smelling, breathing in all these toxic fumes from the conditions that they were living in? You have a lot of questions. But finally, we're kind of circling back to Miss Nancy Guthrie, which we've had a lot of conversations on for the last, 6 months in this case. We've been trying to figure out what's going on in this case. We've been leaning on law enforcement and the FBI to kind of guide us and give us some information about the case. It seems like we were confused more every time the criminal sheriff in this community spoke. So we have a lot of issues when it comes to Miss Nancy Guthrie's case. If you guys are not familiar with the Nancy Guthrie case, Miss Nancy Guthrie was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night on February 1st, 2026, just at the beginning of this year, and has not been seen or heard from since. They are treating this as an abduction/kidnapping for ransom. At least I don't believe in the ransom notes. I believe that something else is here. We've been really looking and honing in on a lot of different facets of this case to try to glean, an edge on what we think may have happened. And, we started off with like one theory. Now we've got two theories. And now we have a possible third theory now that we see all of this stuff play out on NBC and how they've been being unnecessarily and going out of their way to be unnecessarily cruel to Miss Savannah Guthrie. They've been really trying to push her out to take a break from the show. It seems like the show is producing better results and better numbers with her not being on air. And this all started before her mother disappeared. So now that we have all of these different elements coming in that we didn't know about previously, it's giving that third theory of a Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding type of work-related dynamic. Now, would somebody from NBC or somebody from her job that's well-known do something like this? It's not, we have seen well-known people do stupid shit. We've got a lot of NFL well-known football people in jail right now for murdering their moms or girlfriends or whatever, whatever the case may be. So do we have issues? Yes, of course we do. Of course we do. But at the end of the day, Miss Nancy Guthrie was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman. We don't know who he is. They've never released anybody, a person of interest. They never released what their possible route was after abducting her. They never released us a vehicle. It seems to me that it's another situation like we are dealing with in Sebastian Rogers' case, where the investigation was amateur. It was amateur hour. And we've learned so many things about Chris Nanos that have been very, very concerning to us, from the RICO issue to the bludgeoning and the ICU 40 years ago of a cuffed suspect, to him lying under oath, to him running people off the road so he can drive his Corvette fast down the road. Just a real bad cop. He's just a piece of shit, okay? And he deserves to be behind bars, not running the bars, right? So I've got my feelings about this garbage sheriff. I'm not going to be respectful to him because I don't have respect for him. And at the end of the day, they've ralphed this whole case up. At the end of the day, they've ralphed this whole case up. They still haven't even tried to search for Miss Nancy Guthrie, physically search for her body. And that is a problem. And anybody that steps or anybody that speaks out against this sheriff is 86th or ostracized, like Brian Enton, a well-known national correspondent for News Nation, highly respected in journalism and from all markets. From us here on social media, we have utmost respect for Brian Enton. Out there in mainstream media, he's highly respected in mainstream. He's got it the best of both worlds when it comes to Brian Enton, and yet this piece of garbage sheriff, this criminal sheriff, is ostracizing Brian Enton. And so then you've got, us content creators and independent journalists out there, and because we're less respectful than their media is, we're not going to be respectful to people that don't deserve respect. Okay? We have freedom of the press. I don't have to kiss anybody's ass. Okay? And neither does anybody else. If we respect you, it's because you've earned it. Okay, this man did not earn the respect. As a matter of fact, I gave him respect at the beginning. He lost it all because of his behavior. He lost it all. We started out giving this man up-teen respect. He took it away from himself. We didn't take it from him. He took it from himself. So I have no respect for Chris Nanos and the criminal sheriff of Pima County. And so he started arresting the independent journalists out there just because he could, because they dissented against him. They weren't following his orders because they didn't have to. Who the hell is the sheriff? He's the sheriff. He has to follow the law like everybody else, but he didn't. He's the only one that can break the law without being held accountable to the law. So they ended up arresting all of these independent journalists, 3 of them, and they're now going to be able to sue that community for civil rights violations because their rights were violated. At the end of the day, it's around the country, folks. These independent journalists are making waves around the country. This is a newspaper for Savannah, Georgia. They made it into the Savannah, Georgia paper. Hey, Seth, it's good to see you, love. They made it into the Savannah, Georgia paper. So they're making changes, you know? They're doing the same thing as Sumner County regarding Sebastian. They sure are. They sure are. So this is at least they were able to make not just national. We made national news with what they were doing to me, but the local news in Sumner County was a lot more corrupt. At least they've got AZ Family out there, which is less corrupt than the other mainstream media, and so they've been kind of taking a position of defending the content creators, which is welcoming news. Out in Sumner County, they're just as ridiculous. They're like the KVOA. But all of them are like that. They didn't even give a shit that their rights were being violated because they think they've got it good with the government. So as long as they got it good with the government, they can do whatever the hell they want to. No, you cannot. You're violating freedom of press, but it doesn't even matter. Your shenanigans, mainstream media's shenanigans over the last decade is losing them their jobs. Everybody in Sumner County, your media is losing their jobs because they keep lying to the people, okay? So we stop listening to mainstream media. Why? Because they're a bunch of liars. That's why. So this comes down to the nuts and bolts of our show today with Miss Nancy Guthrie. We've watched them go out there and spend some time looking for Miss Nancy Guthrie. Thank you, whoever just did that. I can't even read that. Aw, thank you. I got the eagle. We appreciate you, McBriggs. Another amateur hour. Even with the FBI out there, it was very, very upsetting that the FBI has this listed, classified as a ransom, abduction for ransom, kidnapping for ransom, whatever you want to call it, for ransom. This puts this directly in the FBI's wheelhouse so they can run their own investigation. And I believe that's the reason why they have not changed this to a no-body homicide. They still have this classified as a kidnapping for ransom because that's the only jurisdiction that I can see where the FBI can still be involved in this case as a potential lead agent. Right? Because they have the lead over abductions and ransoms and kidnappings. That's their wheelhouse. They can take over this case by that. I don't believe that that's what this case is, and I know that that's why they're sitting in second position instead of first position with Chris Nanos, because they do not have the evidence that this truly is, and I think that's what the back and forth is. Kash Patel's done. He's ready to hang up the hat and just leave this on the sheriff, and the Phoenix County FBI are still in this, probably because of Mark Kelly, right? So they're the ones saying, oh, no, we're still looking at some for potentially being truthful or legitimate. No, they're not. These have all been, I believe it was Kash Patel that told Reuters that these ransom notes are not, they don't hold water. They're all fake. I believe they're all fake. And I believe the reason why Phoenix FBI is stepping up to the plate saying, oh, well, it's possible that there might be some that are legitimate, is that's the only way that gives them first position aspect in this area to run their investigation into the Nancy Guthrie case. So I'm seeing some of this protocol stuff and them still fighting over who's a lead, whether we know it or not. That's why this is being classified as it is. This is what I truly believe. This is my opinion. This is my professional opinion, but this is my opinion nonetheless. It's not a true fact. This is what I believe is going on behind the scenes. So even this is going to be criticism of not just Pima County, but also the FBI. Because shame on all of them. None of you guys got out there in those that desert to look for this lady. We need to find Nancy. The way you guys are doing it, this amateur hour that we've been watching for the last 6 months, we're tired of watching it. We're ready to change the station. Now it's time to do the investigation the proper way. You know, actually look for the victim. Actually put some time, resources, and moolah, real money behind searching for Nancy out there in that desert. Because I believe she's in the desert of Tucson. I believe she's in the county of Pima. I believe she's in the county of Pima, folks. That is my opinion. I looked at this. I looked at the area. There is nothing even 20 miles away from her home that takes you over a county line. She is in Pima County, buried somewhere. Okay? Burned up somewhere. Dissolved somewhere. She's somewhere. She is somewhere. And I truly believe she's in the county that she was ripped out of her house in. You know why? Because I believe that the person that did this lives in that community. Somewhere in Pima County. I was thinking maybe over the lines, and it's possible maybe there are over like a county line, but I don't think it's over a second county line. I think it's over one county line if possible. But I truly believe that Arizona is so different from area to area that the person that was there, that came out there, that the witness, the neighbor saw walking around in street clothes, I truly believe was from that community, just not from that specific community. I believe that person was from Pima County. I believe that person holds a 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday. I believe this person works in this community and has driven in this community, has eyeballed this property doing his day-to-day job. I do believe that is what we're going to ultimately find. But Nancy Guthrie update. Retired FBI agent issues a bold call to action in finding her body. Today, co-anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, is still missing, and a retired FBI agent issues a bold call to action on a similar case. On July 17th, former special agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, who has been closely following the Nancy's case after February 4th abduction in Tucson, Arizona, took to X to share what she believes investigators should do next. Thelma Gaskin, Nancy Guthrie. She began the post, which features a side-by-side photo of the two women. Thelma, a millionaire who went missing let me go ahead and hit that. Hold on here. Where is it? Took to X. There it goes. More than Thelma made 40 years ago. Her remains found side by side. Thelma, who went missing 40 years ago, she was 80. Her remains found in Sugarloaf Mountain in a desolated area. She was murdered by her paramour, Lawrence Rimson, who received life for killing her. Gaston's remains were only recently identified thanks to DNA testing. She went missing in 1981. Coffindaffer then declared, "This is exactly why searches need to be conducted for Nancy unless they know where she is. Search that desert." And I have to agree, we need to search for Miss Nancy Guthrie. We need to find her body. Once we find where she is, all the other pieces will fall into place. They will fall into place, but we just definitely need those first statements. And the first thing we need is her. And we don't want to forget, where did my flip-flop just fall off to? We don't want to forget the sketch. The sketch being done, guys. This is the guy. This is the guy from a lady that does this for a living. There he is. And these are different possibilities. This is what she believes is behind that face, that mask. And I believe she might be accurate. She might be accurate, folks. She might be accurate. Somebody similar to this. This is kind of what we're looking for here. And I got to be honest with you. This guy here looks more indicative of Carlos than Luke, right? We don't know if Luke or Carlos are still in the hot seat. Law enforcement has not excluded them, has not cleared them, and there's been enough pressure from their attorneys, their respective attorneys, to do so, and they still have not. And nor have their attorneys ever even issued a demand for an apology from the sheriff. They did their little one-offs around the newscast, and then that was it. No more from the attorneys. Why? That's my question. Why? When are they going to have to release those search warrants? They have to release them at some point. They can't keep them under seal forever. Also, I still believe Nancy only made it inside of her garage, and Tommaso shut the door. She was grabbed from behind. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible the guy was already in her house. We don't know. We don't know. But what I did do is I did a report. This report was done... sorry. Hit the wrong button. This report was done about the crime scene investigation. You know, were things thoroughly done as they were supposed to be done? And we're going to be breaking this down this evening, okay? We're going to be doing a live right on this report. What steps did they miss? What steps did they miss? And they've missed some. They've missed some. I did some research on the policies and procedures, as well as, this is where this information comes from. Each stage is described in a way it would be taught in the academy and written in standard operating procedures, the SOP, that applied directly to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie in her Catalina foothills. So I'm not going in for FBI training. I'm looking at specific training and procedures for Arizona, and I'm compiled a report to apply those standards to the Nancy Guthrie case. And the interesting things are in here about what was or was not done in a timely fashion, or what should have been done and was not done in this report. And we are going to be doing this later today. Hold on, you know what? Let me go ahead. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Don't leave, folks. Don't leave. We're not done yet. We're going to do this real quick here. I'm going to put this out here to you. Let me go ahead and create this now. Go live. We're going to do it at 5 p.m. today. 5 p.m. If you guys would like to come and check this out. This is going to be a very involved live. It's going to be, I think you guys will like the education aspect of it. Obviously, let's see here. So we'll do this. Looking at Nancy Guthrie's of the investigator. Ooh. Looking at the Nancy Guthrie police investigation from the eyes of the investigators. That sounds good, doesn't it? Let's do this. I'm about to give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, and we're going to go ahead and put this, I want to find which one I want to use. I think we'll use this one. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Ooh, that seems like a little bit too much. Investigators. All right, guys, we're almost there. I hope everybody's still sticking around because I don't want you guys leaving. Oh, we do. Okay, we had almost 500 people in chat. It's nice to see you. I am getting this one live set up for 5 o'clock, and I want to put this in the chat so you guys do not miss. Oops, I didn't mean to download. I want to change this to this, and we are going to roll with this. Oops. With this. We're going to look at this through the eyes of the investigators. And we're going to do this at what time? We're going to do this at 5 p.m., folks. 5 p.m. Today, be there or be square. We're almost there. Almost there. Hey, guys. It's nice to see you. Thank you all for being here. Here is... And I'm probably going to be... I'm using a stream key, so let me go over here. All of this is so freaking difficult, I swear. You got to go to 18 million different places. But if you guys go over to my channel, I just set up the new live stream for our 5 o'clock show. This is going to be looking at the case through the eyes of the investigators because we did the reports. Did they follow the protocol that they were taught in school or not? We're going to give you a play-by-play on this. Let me throw this in chat. Here you guys go. Go over there and sub up right now to the Bullhorn Betty channel, but not just sub up. They have the ability to remind you. So you guys get busy during the day. You get forgetful. So go over here and hit the notification. Anytime you have a live that's coming up, that's going to be in the future, that's already scheduled, you can go over there and hit notify me, and it'll send you a link. It'll send you a notification that you specifically requested to make sure you don't miss that show. We all get busy. Today's Tuesday. It's the day after Monday. Our minds are a lot clearer. So we have 1,000 different things to do today because we forgot to do a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. So folks, go over to my channel, hit that link, get notified, and I want to see you all back here at 5 p.m. to look at this case through the lens of the investigators. We've got this right here. So can't wait to see all you guys this afternoon. I want to thank you all for being here with me today. We had a long live today. Our live has run over 2 hours, 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. We've been here by the time we are closing out this show. It's going to be closer to 3 hours because I haven't even gotten to my outro just yet. But The cases that we cover here on the Bullhorn Betty channel are all so sad. But the problem we have is out here in the ether, there's a lot of AI that's giving us false sense of information on these cases that are sometimes lying to us in totality. I don't know how many of you guys have seen those cases where they found Summer Wells. You know, Summer Wells has been found. Just to go to the Google search to find out that that was a AI video that had nothing but misinformation in it. So we're in a sea right now of misinformation from mainstream media to our AI videos, and we just don't know what's true, what isn't true, what's fact, what's fiction. And we do speculate, folks. It is okay to theorize. It's okay to speculate, but do it on the facts, not made up hyperbole or conjecture, right? And that's what we try to do here. We try to look at the facts. Sometimes we don't have a whole lot of facts, and we can't even assess the case very well because there's no facts to assess a case on. All we can do is report what we're hearing. We can't even give an idea of which way this case is going to go one way or another. For example, Nolan Wells. You know, we know that something doesn't sound right in his case, but we don't know what. Will it ultimately rise to the level of a homicide? We pray to God it doesn't, right? Because these are young men that are just starting out in life, and one has already lost his life. We don't want another one losing their life. I would prefer this to be a terrible accident, right? Than knowing that somebody had hate in their heart to hurt another human being to death. And then, of course, we have the Sider family, which let's be honest, we don't know what the hell we're looking at here. Because this could really get into a very taboo topic with that many children. You know, is other things going on behind these closed doors? You know, what type of indecent exposure did, Junior do? Was it because he was urinating outside because he had no place to urinate in the house? You know, was it something like that? Or is this something a lot more concerning here going on with these children, right? And that's going to be the main concern that we all have. So we really don't know what we're looking at here. We don't know who all the victims are and who the perpetrator truly is. So we're just, waiting on everything with bated breath. The only thing we can tell you is that everybody looked a lot different just a few short years ago. Okay? They didn't look like this family that we're looking at now. They looked happy. They looked healthy. Something happened. We don't know what. And then, of course, we get to Miss Nancy Guthrie, and we're trying to figure out what's going on in her case. And we know her case ran as piss poor as Sebastian Rogers, which was another case we covered earlier on in this episode, in this segment. So that's kind of where we are. And we hope that you guys come back later this afternoon to look at this case through the eyes of the investigators as we break down what their policies and procedure, what the standard operating procedures were in a case like this, and were those standards followed explicitly? Because it's our position they were not, and I can tell you based on the work I did, there's a lot of areas that are problematic concerns with this investigation, or how this investigation is going to end up being fruitful in the long run. And it's questionable, right? Because of all of these issues that we've seen in the Nancy Guthrie case. If we do find an assailant, are they going to walk on technicalities? It's a good possibility, and all of us know that. All of us know that. So what are we dealing with here, and why are they not searching for Miss Nancy Guthrie's body? Nobody's searching for Nancy Guthrie. Yes, Kuna, it'll be 5 p.m. Eastern time, so that would be 4 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Mountain, and 2 p.m. Pacific, I think. I think. Well, the great news is whenever you go in there, it does show you your time zone. It doesn't show you my time zone. So whenever you go to the show, it'll show you that this is going to go on at 2, 3, or 4. It's in your time zone. But in my time zone, it'll be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, we'll we'll have, I don't expect everybody to be off work exactly at 5 to be tuning in, but we'll go through an intro process of that, so everybody has an opportunity to sign in. So I just want to thank everybody that came out today to learn about these cases. I hope I was able to provide you some insight, something you haven't seen or heard before in these cases. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty in the Nancy Guthrie case this afternoon, and I'm going to try to do a few videos throughout this. We're still looking for Isabel Johnson. She's on the run right now. If you are in Alabama, Florida, or Georgia, this is for you. Miss Isabel Johnson is accused of homicide of a 43-year-old man by the name of Jason Colthart in Niceville, Florida, and it sounds like his body was found off of Sunset Drive in Freeport, about 30 minutes away from his home, and nobody knows why he's dead or why Isabel is on the run. 5 people are already behind bars right now that we know of for aiding Isabel. She's radioactive. If you are out there and don't help her. You do not need to put your neck out. I just want to remind you, most of the people she hangs out with, you guys got alcohol and drug problems. You don't want to be doing a stint in jail because you got alcohol and drug problems, so she ain't worth it. I'm just putting it out there for you. If you're watching me on your phone, if you're watching me in your bar, do not help this woman. Do not help her. She is not worth the trip to jail, and she's not worth the time in jail you're going to serve for doing something like helping her, giving her money, giving her a place to stay, giving her a cell phone. Those are no-nos. You're going to go to jail. Do not help this lady, okay? If you value your freedom, now, if you don't value your freedom, there's nothing I can do for you. But if you value your freedom, don't help this woman. Do not help her. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. I want to thank you all for being here. I know that we go early, and we're going to be going earlier. If you guys weren't here at the beginning of the show, we're going to be going earlier Tuesdays and Thursdays. My county meetings are coming back. We usually do our lives around 6 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's coming back next week, so make sure you set your calendars. Make sure you set your alarm clocks. But anyways, guys, we'll see you later. Have a great day. Have a great day. We'll be back later this afternoon. God bless.